mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, but I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucs winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Aaron Rodgers and his people were like, they listened to our episode and they said, hold our cheesehead or coat.
Donovan Mitchell, who right now looks to be a superstar.
Just amazing. And I don't care what the Red Sox got for trading Mookie Betts and David Price. The Dodgers, in my opinion, win it. I don't have to see what players they gave up.
Yeah, that's not just the Chiefs. That's Andy Reid. He knows the defenses so well because he's such a great offensive mind. That
well, you said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not gonna bet against Aaron Rodgers.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life.
Just goes to show the offense for the Dallas Stars could not keep up, and when the defense needed to step up, the Lightning's offense just overpowered them.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets. Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's 2 of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year, and they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to the Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. Today, we're going to be going over the off-season. It's been wild, especially the second part of the off-season. First part was wild, but this one really had the ball drop with the Matt Olson trade and the extension, the 8-year extension, which I did the math, and it was a $21 million. And I understand what the Braves are doing. I just can't believe they actually did it because they got a really nice first baseman, and it seemed like Freeman and the Braves kind of mutually broke up, but the first ball drop was the Braves. Do you think it was a mutual breakup, or they were just like, yeah, we can't come to an agreement. We're going to go make a move to secure our first base for the
I wouldn't consider it completely mutual. I feel like Freddie would have stayed with the right price, and they just didn't offer it.
I think from what I was hearing, it was the 6th year that a lot of people didn't want to give, but the Dodgers gave that 6th year and paid more because the deal averages to about $26 million per year, which is only $5 million more than what Olsen is getting paid by the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it does suck that Freddie Freeman is no longer an Atlanta Brave, but you have a really nice replacement in Matt Olson, who hit very well in a park that has just incredibly large foul lines, or there's so much room past the foul line in the Coliseum. It's the Coliseum, right? Or the Oakland?
Yes.
It's not like...
Yes.
I know they're...
Yes. I think so.
It's Ring Central Coliseum. Okay, cool. And then Freddie Freeman to the Dodgers... That's ridiculous. Because now
I think they have to trade Muncy now. Even though there's DH spot, I think they need to trade Muncy because their outfield is also stacked. I don't know where Cody Bellinger plays, potentially.
I was thinking Bellinger goes to center field. And then Taylor at second.
They're let's just say this. Then where does Will Lutz play? They're just very, very stacked with players, and they're gonna have to trade somebody. That you can't just bring somebody in and not have to move somebody out. I know they lost Corey Seager.
Well, yeah, but then they replaced him with Trey Turner. Or had already planned. So you do make a good point. They could be a trade. I know they may not like Lux, or maybe they trade Muncy, but they do need help on pitching because they're lacking depth there. Dustin may come back from his UCL surgery, but I believe David Price right now is the 5, and David Price is good, but he's had injury concerns, and they brought back Kershaw, so my dream of Kershaw being a Ranger failed. I was close. He called the Rangers to tell me he was not signing with them, but they were in contention. It wasn't just a pipe dream. There was some actual like evidence of it happening. It's not like the Mavericks saying they're going to get DeAndre Jordan or Mavericks getting Chris Paul. When in like 2012 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they have Kershaw, and Kershaw's coming back from an injury, so I think they need to add depth. So they could be looking to trade Muncy for a team and get some pitching back. Do you agree with that or disagree?
I agree. They'd get a lot more for Muncy than they would get for Bellinger, but I don't know if they want to get rid of Muncy because one of those players I think is going to have to play DH because I like Lutz, and obviously you still have AJ Pollock in left and have Mookie in right. So I think moving off of Muncy would be the most intelligent thing to do because I believe that Cody Bellinger, a lefty bat, has more potential because he's already shown his ability to hit a lot of homers. But
And he just had an off season, in my opinion.
it's true.
Bellinger.
That's true. But we'll see. We'll see. Muncy hasn't had an off season yet, a season where he did not perform to what he was expected to, or exceeded it. But I think one of those two have to be traded for them to have any consistency, or one of them I think is going to complain about not playing.
Okay. Yeah. So now that's the main thing that happened. So we covered Kershaw. Now the IKF trades. Poor. I almost want to say poor Isaiah Kinner-Fluffa because the Rangers.
No.
The Rangers
No,
said, "Hey, you're a starting third baseman."
he said that his favorite team was the Yankees. It's not poor him. He sent a photo to Yankee fandom about him being at a game. It's not poor Isaiah Carner-Fluffa.
But just like
He's
the
happy.
roller
He's
coaster.
happy. He's
Did
happy.
he even like look
He's
up a
happy.
house before he was traded to New York?
Probably
I gotta
not.
move to
But
Minnesota. Oh wait, I'm going to New York.
and he was very happy about that. If you're a Yankee fan growing up, there's no better place to play.
Well, yeah, but it was just a roller coaster of emotions. I like what the Rangers got back. They got a nice catcher who's a Silver Slugger, and it worked out for the Yankees because. Do you think he's gonna be your starting shortstop?
He has to be. We're not going to put Torres back there, and we traded away Urshela, who's the only other one that I thought could play. DJ is not a good shortstop because he doesn't have the versatility to go side to side like a shortstop needs to. So yeah, he has to. And then I like to pick up a Donaldson. I know there's some drama between Donaldson and Garrett Cole, but they're both grown men. They're not gonna mess with that. It's all good. And I saw Donaldson's first home run with us. I'm interested to see how this trade works out. Connor Fluffa has hit very well in spring training so far, but it's spring training. Those are not all the best pitchers in the world. I mean, they are the best pitchers in the world, but not the best pitchers in the MLB pitching every day in spring training.
Yeah, and my thing with Isaiah Kinner-Fluffa, I think he's a good piece to a championship team. I kind of see him as a utility infielder, and I don't want him to be the main piece of offense. He's a fantastic defender, but my thing was like him being the main offensive piece for the Rangers. But with the Yankees, you have hitters like you've just got Donaldson, you have Rizzo, you have Judge. You mostly have IKF for defense, and now you can move LeMahieu to second, where he's fantastic, and you have Donaldson at third, and now you
Well,
probably
the
move off
issue
Torres.
is, sorry to interrupt, but
No, you're good. You're good.
we're not going to play LeMahieu at first. I mean, or second, because we're really high on Torres, apparently. But that kind of conflicts with everything because we want to play Giancarlo in the field a lot, but at the same time, he needs to play DH a certain amount of time because he's not the greatest fielder. I think what we're going to run, I think we should trade Hicks and run an outfield looking like left field Giancarlo, center field Judge, right field Gallo. So Giancarlo in left, Stanton, center Judge, right Gallo, and then put LeMahieu at second. No, I mean put Torres at second, and no, put DH Torres. Torres is not the greatest fielder. while LeMahieu has won multiple Gold Gloves at second base. Put LeMahieu in the field. He hits better when he's in the field, and he hits better when he's at second base because that's what he's comfortable with, and it makes sense. He was a top 5 MVP candidate 2 years before this year, in 2019 and 2020. He had an off year because he was hurt all year. Everyone's like, oh, he's washed. This was crazy. One player has an off year after having back-to-back top MVP finishes, and they're like, oh, he's washed. No, you can't. I guess you can't have one bad year. But he was hurt. He missed our playoff game because of his sports hernia. I hope he comes back, and I think we should just trade Hicks for an arm. We need another arm, and then play LeMahieu at second so that he can get the best reps possible. And Torres, he's a good hitter whenever he's confident. I feel like he'll be most confident when he's only hitting, not having to worry about getting all the aerials that he got last year at shortstop.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think having Donaldson at third allows you to move LeMahieu at second, where you said he's won Gold Gloves, and now you have a really good defensive shortstop in IKF. And I know y'all have Anthony Volpe in the system. He's probably not going to be called up yet, but if it's not bad having IKF because he can play third. He's won a Gold Glove at third. He's played second. He can play shortstop. He's even played catcher a little bit, but he lost the weight. But I think catcher, like, you did get rid of Sanchez. Like, he was
Mm-hmm.
a good hitter, but terrible defensively. I almost am wondering if the Yankees are going to make a move. This gets into the speculation part, but Montas and Sean Murphy, because the A's are just tearing everything down. So why not call about a catcher like Sean Murphy?
I don't know what we'd give up because we're running out of. We're not running out. We could give them Estevan Foyle, which I don't want to do, but
What
we
about
had
Torres?
to. I don't know if they'd want Torres. I'd be okay with that, but then our shortstop depth is non-existent. Like we have no one else who can play short besides IKF. Like if IKF gets hurt, I don't know where we go unless we bring up Volpe, which I don't want to do this year. I feel like he's 1 year out from being a starter in the MLB, and yeah, I don't know.
All right. And then moving on, like with the Mayhew's injury, there's a lot of people that had bad years. Like Rendon was injured, Matt Chapman, and that's what I want to talk about. I really like that addition of Matt Chapman. Defensively, he's amazing, and he's a good hitter. He just had a down year. It was his hip, and I've
Yeah.
never swung it well, but you can talk from experience. That I think is a major part of your power.
Oh yeah, the
Finger.
torque that you get from moving your hips is definitely something that's noticeable whenever you swing. So a hip injury, a hernia injury like LeMahieu, those are both going to have significant impacts on your swing. So I definitely believe both those guys will come back and be great contenders for at least a All-Star spot.
And imagine the offense. Like, you're adding Chapman's offense to, we've seen what he can do, to an offense that already has Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette, Springer, and Gurriel and Hernandez. That's like a really good offense. We saw how great Vlad was in the offense last year. So, and defensively, it's amazing to have him at third. So they are missing some production from Simeon because he's now with the Rangers. But I
Yeah,
really like.
Chapman won't hit like Simeon did last year, home run wise at least. He may pass him in average, but home run wise, Chapman's never been a 40 homer guy.
Yeah, but I don't think they have to worry about that because you already have Vlad and Bichette, and Springer was injured last year too. Like, he didn't play that much, so hopefully he comes back. Like, you're not going to replace Simeon's production with one player, but I feel they'll be fine. And they added some nice pitching, adding some nice pitching before the lockout. So that's my idea of it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and another team that I've really been happy with is the Rangers. I mean, picking up Seager and Simeon, that middle infield is going to be dirty, and some of the prospects they're bringing up, I'm excited to see how they're going to turn out. I don't know if I'm completely behind all of them, but there's a good bit that I think will perform well.
Which prospect are you thinking of?
Hmm?
Which prospects? I was like more excited for Josh Young, but he's out for like 3 months, so that kind of dampens my hopes.
Who was the catcher you guys had?
Oh, Oh, you talking about John
Sam
Hunter?
Huff?
Or
Sam
Brittany
Huff.
Sam Huff. Yeah, I think
Yeah, I remember now.
he's gonna stay in AAA for a while because he had some knee issues, and but I really like him, and I really like what the Rangers are doing, and I'll kind of transition to the Twins unless you want to add one more thing about the Rangers.
No. Yeah, we can go into Twins.
Like the Twins made big moves, and like I'm glad we're seeing teams spend that aren't just rebuilding and like totally tanking. Like the Rangers made big moves, the Twins made big moves by getting Correa as a shortstop. They also got Sonny Gray from the Reds, so I think it's really good. They paid big money for Correa. I'm I don't think they planned it. They also extended Buxton, and hopefully Buxton's back healthy. And they have Sanchez, and Sanchez maybe it just didn't work out in New York. Like New York is a tough place to play because of the history of the Yankees and the prestige you have when you're a Yankees player. Like we saw what happened with Joey Gallo when people were writing articles about him changing and how that affects his hitting, just his different. It was weird, but some players are made for it. Like I think Judge is made for it. So I really like the Correa signing, and I think it's good for him because he's coming off his best season and where he didn't have that many injuries, and he has 2 opt-outs, so he could opt out maybe next season or the year after and just make more money when the market for shortstops isn't as saturated as it was this year because you had Seager, you had Story, you have him, you had I'm forgetting what other shortstops were there that were on the market.
There was.
Or was that it?
No, there's another one. I can't remember his name. It starts with a B. It's like Brantley, but it's not Brantley. Really good defensive guy. Played for them last year. I'm pretty sure he played for the Twins last year.
Are you talking about Andrelton Simmons?
Yes. Yes.
He's
yes.
now with the Cubs for a 1
Yeah,
year
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you said the ones that were on the market.
Yeah, so he could leave and then get it, but they could win now, which is awesome. They also, they traded Trace Petty to get Sonny Gray, but I really like seeing that. And the Marlins were also paying big money to get Jorge Soler, and the Rockies spent big money, but I really don't understand the idea of it was a different GM, but why do you trade Nolan Arenado and pay $51 million to get rid of Arenado to the Cardinals, and then you go sign Bryant, who I don't think is as good as defensively at third base than as Arenado, but he is more versatile than Arenado. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. Arenado's a very good defensive third baseman, so I wouldn't be surprised if he kept on winning Gold Gloves and like he has the last, was it now 9 years? I think
Believe
it's
so.
9 straight. It may be 8 straight. I think it's 9 straight though.
I think it's
And
9 straight as well.
yeah, are you checking up on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know if anyone can contend with the streak that he's been on, and he's going to continue to carry this Cardinals team, at least defensively speaking. And I really like for the Cardinals, Paul Goldschmidt. Obviously, the last ride for Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina, which is this could be their swan song and a good one at that. Do you think they make a push for the pennant?
I think they do. I'm a little worried about their pitching because I know Jack Flaherty has like shoulder inflammation. Same with Reyes. So maybe they make a trade for a pitcher. Yeah, I'm looking at Arenado. I'm looking at it seems like ever since 2013, like his first year, he's won a Gold
Yeah.
Glove.
Is that 9 years though?
Yeah, I believe so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's 9.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, but it was just okay. I'm glad you're spending money, but it just doesn't make sense. Why you don't try to re-sign Story? Like, if you're gonna spend money, why not spend it on more players than just Chris Bryant? That's just my thing.
Yeah, I agree. Bryant is a step down, like you said, from Arenado defensively,
And it's
and
more years.
yeah, and it's less money though. I believe. I think it's less money, but it's more years, like you said. And then I don't understand why they don't make a harder push to bring back Story. If you're gonna bring back Bryant, I don't know why you don't bring back Story. Just like you said, they lost John Gray. They're they're deciding not to rebuild at the same time as also losing their best players that they've had for years. So while I don't believe in tanking, you do at some point need to at least try to get your young guys more playing time. And I don't think signing Chris Bryant is the way to do so.
Yeah, or just do more than one big signing. Like if the Rangers had signed Simeon and only Simeon, I'd be like, this doesn't make sense. But they signed Simeon, Seager, Gray, and they were in pursuit of other guys like Suzuki. But let's go to Story. That's another thing I'm interested in. I feel Story's better defensive shortstop than Bogarts. So it seems like he could be insurance, but why not move Story to shortstop and move Bogarts to second base? So you still have them both in the lineup, but better you have the better defensive shortstop at shortstop.
Yeah, one of them has to move to second base because Kike Hernandez is a good second baseman, but they need him to play center field because he's better at center field for them. So, yeah, I think Story fits perfectly for that team. And while I hate Boston as a team playing against them, they made some smart moves this offseason.
Yeah, I was surprised with how long it took Story, but I think maybe some people were worried about him leaving Coors and like him hitting wise, and he did have a down year as well, but
It
it
is
could
going to be
really
hard to
turn out
hit.
well.
As a righty, it is going to be hard to hit it over the monster at times. We saw that with Stanton, who hit one of the hardest non-home runs I've ever seen in my entire life in the wild card game.
Yeah. So that's another signing, and then to Seiya Suzuki, the Cubs also paid some big money. Like they signed Stroman beforehand, they got Simmons, and then they got Suzuki, 5-year deal. Suzuki, I think, will do well, and I'm just glad teams are spending a lot of money. Like the Cubs could have a short turnaround. Maybe they'll be meh this year, but like you have Madrigal at second base for that Kimbrel deal, which looks to be a huge steal on their part because it looks like the White Sox are trying to get rid of Kimbrel, and they gave
That's
up
true.
Madrigal.
That's true. And that was one of the worst trades. We even said that even if Kimbrel was going to be like his old self, which he obviously wasn't in Chicago, at least, well, I mean, he was already with Chicago, but he's with a different Chicago team. So on the South side, he just did not play as well. And losing one of the best contact hitters in the game, a young guy who I thought was going to be a mainstay of Chicago for a long time, and now he is, just not with them. It's kind of crazy. I really like what the Cubs are doing. Picking up Anderson Simmons, already had made a trade for Nick Madrigal, getting Seiya Suzuki. I This Cubs team could be good sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and like they need to fix their rotation.
Yeah,
They need to add more pieces, but like you have a mainstay at second base, you have Simmons for 1 year, third base, Patrick Wisdom. Like you could try out other guys and see what you got for trades, or you can go spend more money and you have a fielder spot with Seiya Suzuki.
they did
hopefully.
get. Who they get? Who's the pitcher they got? I can't remember. Carlo.
Are you talking about Marcus Truman? Or
Yes,
different
Marcus
pitcher?
Stroman. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, and that's like a 3-year deal.
yeah,
So I
but
like.
they still need to get much better rotation, some better bullpen pieces, but they're moving in the right direction. And I like the moves they're making. 1 year deals with Simmons. Picking up a guy like Suzuki is going to be good for a long time, and I think so. His swing is one of the most beautiful swings I've ever seen. I don't know, Kevin, if you've seen some of his highlights, but his swing is beautiful.
I'm not that. Not yet. Hopefully, I got to learn more analysis of swings beforehand.
It
Like
is it is a beautiful swing.
so, yeah, and so that's another thing, and like I just like it because there's no more. Like I can probably name like 3 bad teams that are probably going to be bad. One being the Reds because I have no idea what they're doing. Pirates because it's the Pirates, and who else
Orioles.
was it? Orioles. Well, Rockies are going to be entertaining, and then
The
maybe
Rockies are always
Diamondbacks.
entertained. The Rockies last year had one of the best home records in MLB.
They also have a young pitcher, Marquez.
Herman Marquez, yep.
Yeah.
He's not that young, but he's younger.
Okay. Yeah, and then that's like really it. the Reds, I kind of like what the Mariners are doing. Like they got Jesse Winker, who's a good hitter, and they have that DH spot. Like he's not the best fielder, but they can move him to DH, and then they got Suarez. Even though they they have someone at third base.
I'm
now.
worried about third base. I know Suarez is going to play third base. I'm cool with that, but Suarez concerns me not only just hitting but also fielding wise. J.P. Crawford is one of the best shortstops in the game, defensively speaking, and one of the most underrated shortstops. They have Mitch Haniger, another very underrated player. Mitch Haniger's really good. I like how their team is built. I'm just worried about Suarez, how he's going to play, because he has great games and terrible games, and he sometimes struggles with consistency.
And they also like have Kalenic. They have a lot of outfield prospects like Julio Rodriguez coming up. You mentioned Haniger. And they also have Adam Frazier. I completely forgot about Adam Frazier is at second base now.
Yeah.
Who
Yep,
can play outfield as well, but they're kind of full outfield. And they signed Robbie Ray. Like they could break their playoff streak. Like they came close last year.
They did lose Kyle Seager, who had a great season last year, and that's going to hurt. But I think they can rebound.
Yeah, and that's just the main thing. And then I really like what the Giants did. They signed Rodon, who did have injuries this past year, but the Giants, I think, are a very good pitching team because I believe Gosman had some injuries. And then look at what happened to Gosman. He was fantastic. Better in the first half than the second half. And then they also signed Jock Peterson, who's won the past 2 World Series. So if you're superstitious or a betting person, maybe you want to take that bet, depending on how much money it is or what the odds are.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest deals that the Giants made were bringing back Alex Wood and Anthony Desclafani. One Alex Wood being a starter and Desclafani being a reliever. No, they're both starters. My bad. That's my fault. But I really do like both of those guys. They played exceptional last year, and I think they keep the mojo going. I'm still confused why Buster Posey retired, considering that he still had 1 year left on his deal for this season, and the way they built this team would be their only hole is really at catcher. Even though I know they have a prospect coming up, we don't know how he's going to perform. It's with prospects, you're like, oh, he's so good. Let's wait and let's see how he performs. But this Giants team's looking very good, and I still think the matchup between the Dodgers and the Giants is going to be one of the best this year, just like it was last year.
Yeah, I was going to say their only main thing is catcher, but they lost because they lost Posey. So it would be good. Wondering what the Padres are doing. Tatis is going to be out, but I think hopefully make a bounce back. And then I also forgot to mention the A's will be a bad team because they're just trading everyone away. We've already discussed Olsen and Chapman. And now a team that's like making moves, but I don't really understand is the Phillies. Like you signed Schwarber and Castellanos.
Those are both great hitters, terrible fielders.
Yeah. So you're paying a lot of money for one of them to be a DH, and then
I'm assuming Schwarber. Schwarber is the worst of the defenders.
That's 4 years and like wasn't it like 79 million?
Yeah, and they still have Reese Hoskins who fits that mold exactly. And the thing is Castellanos normally plays right field, but they have this guy named Bryce Harper who won MVP last year that plays right field. So I'm interested to see how this dynamic works for the Phillies.
And is Gregorius still with them playing shortstop?
Yes, but he's struggled ever since he left New York.
So, like, okay, you did get hitting, but now defense, it's a thing.
Yeah, their defense is questionable in literally every position.
And then another thing about back to the Braves is Kenley Jensen signed with them. They also signed Colin McHugh. They really are adding to already a good bullpen, and they, depending on when Acuna comes back, it will be really good for them. They could play well. I'm not sure if they're going to win it again because it's tough to repeat, but they will definitely be good, and I think they will have a strong case to defend their title.
Yeah, a team hasn't repeated since the Yankees, right?
I believe you're correct.
It's been a very long time. Now, teams have won, like the Giants won in 2010, 2012, 2014, but back-to-back hasn't happened in a very long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Braves don't win it, but they have the pieces to do it. And even with losing Freeman, Olsen, who's obviously not as good as Freeman, is still good. he's probably close to the same level hitting wise. Where the discrepancy really starts for me is defensively. I think Freeman's just so much better defensively than Olsen, even though Olsen's not a terrible defender. And Freeman's better hitting, but not much better hitting. But I really liked that they brought back Eddie Rosario. He looked rejuvenated in the Braves system, and throughout the playoffs, he was their best player. It just hurts they lost Soler, and I'm pretty sure Soler went to Miami, correct?
Yes, he went to Miami
Okay.
on 2 opt-outs. I was going to mention him when he mentioned it was good they brought back Soler, and it seems like a good deal, but they lost Peterson and Soler, and you're hoping Acuna can come back
Someone else went to
soon.
Miami that I can't remember.
Avisail Garcia. Avisail Garcia. I know Soler went. I think there is someone I can't remember. Oh, Joey Wendell got traded there, but that was before.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of though. Yeah, that was it. There, I knew the big deal was I actually really like that. Joey Wendell's a very underrated player, and him playing third for them will definitely be an improvement. Even though they do have, uh,
Jazz Chisholm.
no, Chisholm
Is that who you're
plays
thinking of?
second. It's like it's a common. It's like Corey Dickerson, but it's not Corey Dickerson. That's just a
Who are you
different.
thinking of? Like third baseman?
The third baseman, yes.
I'm looking it up. But yeah, I like what they were doing too. They are trying Brian Anderson,
Yeah, I think
Jesus
that's it.
Aguilar. I looked up Miami Marlins third baseman. It says Brian Anderson.
Yeah, it's Brian Anderson. That's the guy I was thinking of. Yeah, and he's played fine over the past couple of years. I knew he was really good his rookie year. He was fourth in rookie of the year voting. But I do think Joey Wendell's definitely an improvement.
Yeah, so I like what they're doing. They need to fill their center fielder spot, but they could trade. I've heard they were trying to talk to the A's about Ramon Laureano. So, depending on what they want, I heard they couldn't agree on a deal for what
Yeah,
they
I don't
both
know if his
felt.
value is going to be much because of the PED thing that happened. Because he could,
Yeah,
if he happens again, he'll get, I think, a full year suspension. I think it's 60 and then a year.
yeah. So we've talked a lot about the signings. The final one, I think. Oh, Rizzo. Rizzo went back to the Yankees. That's good
I'm
news.
happy with that. I'm starting to be more happy with that than I am about Freeman because we didn't spend as much money on Rizzo, and Rizzo's better defensively. I think he's the best defensive first baseman in the league. He also gets hit a lot. Like he has the most hit by pitches in the MLB by a large margin over the last couple of years, and he's won a championship. So I'm not mad about getting him back. I wanted Freeman, but it's not the end of the world. I'm really happy with bringing him back. If we lost Freeman and didn't get Rizzo, I would be furious. But we brought Rizzo back. I liked how he played last year with the Yankees, so I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I think it was a good signing. Like, yes, of course, Freeman would have been amazing, but you got him on a 2-year deal with Rizzo, and just see where it goes. He's a nice left-handed hitter, doesn't strike out like a left-handed hitter in Gallo. So I think it's a good thing. And then Cruz to the Nationals, probably just gonna be playing DH, which is fine. That's already a good offense. Like you have Blake Bell, you have Soto, and now you add Cruz, who's a great hitter. Just don't put him in the field, and DH allows you to do that. They do have to solve some problems, but it was a nice signing for them, and it's a 1-year deal for Cruz. So it's not that bad of a deal. Of like, he's like, I'm retiring. Well, he was only 1 year, so you're good.
Yeah, and I think Cruz deserves a signing, and the Nationals are going to be a team that I think is going to be fun to watch, at least their offense, because with Soto having that three piece of, like you said, uh, Bell, Soto, and then Cruz, that can be tough to
And
pitch against.
yeah, sorry to interrupt, but you also got the catcher from the Dodgers in the Scherzer and Turner deal.
Kyber
Yes,
Ruiz.
Ruiz, who's like almost coming up, and he was playing a little bit for him, but maybe you see him step up. So
Yeah,
they do
he
have
should
some
be
nice
good.
players. I'm more worried about pitching, but now speaking of pitching, let's get into some speculation. Michael Conforto is like the main guy left. I'm wondering where he goes because the Mets seem to have filled their outfield spots, and he's a good hitter. Like I think he had a down year. as well. And then you also have like Manea and Montas, and then I said Murphy and Lorano. Just anyone on the A's who isn't being called up, I'm sure anyone can call and ask them what it takes because they've just been doing a fire sale, and I don't know how I feel about that. It's just the A's, I guess. So I kind of see Montas. Like I heard the Royals were also talking about Montas, even though they did add Greinke. That's a nice signing as well. But I do you think we'll see him get traded soon or no?
Which one?
Depends. Do you think any of them get traded? Any of the
I
A's
think
players?
I think if any of them do, I would say it's Manea and Murphy. I don't know about Montas. Montas is younger, and I feel like he has more potential to show. And if they trade him right before the trade deadline, I feel like they could get more for him. So if you're talking trade before the season starts, I would say Manea and Murphy are much more likely.
Do you think it's a package deal?
Yes. I don't know
Okay.
how else it would go down because trading them both separately would be weird. You wouldn't get as like because to get a very luxurious prospect, you would need to trade both at the same time to acquire that. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for what could happen. I hope the Yankees get Minai. We need a lefty starting pitcher. I know we have Nestor Cortez who could start, Jordan Montgomery, but another lefty. You can't have too many. I love CC Sabathia, my favorite pitcher uh, to ever wear the Yankee pinstripes, mainly because I watched him for a large portion of my life. But the Yankee lefty ace is something that I always enjoy watching.
Yeah, and I feel y'all need pitching depth. Like Severino, I know he's coming back, but he's dealt with injuries, so it's just nice to have some depth.
True.
And then you would fill a nice need at catcher because you're kind of packaging catchers with Higa Shoyoka, and I don't know the second one who's replacing Sanchez.
But one more thing that I think we need to mention is, do you think Joey Votto gets traded? I think yes, and if so, where? I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers made a move or a team that needs a first baseman heavily makes a move for. I don't know if they're going to sell him off the cuff for not that much, but I do think he gets traded before spring training ends.
That does make sense because like you traded everyone else, why not Votto? And see what we can get. It seems like I don't really understand what they're doing. I know what you said about the Rangers. I'm kind of happy. Like I would like an upgrade from Nate Lowe, but depending on what I have to offer, I'm fine with Nate Lowe as my first baseman. And I kind of just want the Rangers to be better what they were last year and try for a playoff spot, but not like get rid of the farm to make the playoffs this year. I kind of want to see some growth because we really don't have a third baseman. Josh Young is out for 3 months, which stinks because I was really excited to see him coming up. But Ibanez may fill in. There's also Carpenter, former Cardinal. They also have
He's going to
Holt.
play third until. Well, Holt's gone. Holt went to Twins,
Then it was Culberson. We
or he
re-signed
went either
Culberson.
to the Guardians or Twins. I actually don't remember.
Let me guess. I'm looking it up right now. He is.
Or Braves. Is it Braves? I know it's a team with the blue and then
Yeah, he's
the
the
red.
Braves. It
Yeah,
says
okay.
he's a utility infielder. Anyway, it says current team is
It's
Texas
Braves. It's
Rangers.
Braves. I see
Okay, it's
it. It's
Braves.
Braves.
Oh yeah, Braves signed him to a minor league deal.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a package at third base, and I'm totally fine with it. I also would like to see like some just more guys come up. I think when Leiter and those pitchers join the pitchers we have now, like Hearn, Dunning, we have Gray. Just when more pitchers come up, like Leiter, I almost said Al Leiter, but it's Jack Leiter. I'm talking about his son, not his dad. Al Leiter's son, Jack Leiter, not the father, Al Leiter, who was also a pitcher for the Marlins. So
And the
when
Blue
those
Jays.
guys start coming up, then we see moves. But maybe Padres make the move for Votto, try to package Hassel with Hosmer, and then that's what they do because I know they've been trying to get off Hosmer because they were trying to sign Freddie Freeman, but you have to get rid of Hosmer first. And I think if you attach the main thing was Hassel, the outfield prospect, maybe that's what they do. But I do agree Votto would be traded. I kind of want to see what trades happen because I know we're about to start doing predictions soon.
Yeah, next week.
All right, next week we'll be doing that. Thank you for listening to our off-season recap. We wanted to wait until everything was done. We'll also be doing NFL free agency. So that's it. Thank you for listening. Be on the lookout for future episodes from Outsiders Opinions.